This is a compilation of videos of me picking fruits of my dragon fruit in my garden. I have 15 different varieties, mostly hybrid varieties, which I bought from Three Lucky Mountains Dragon Fruit Farm located in Angat, Bulacan. I planted these dragon fruits 2 years ago, and last year, 3 varieties were able to bear fruits. But now almost all varieties are fruiting, but there are, I think, 3 or 4 varieties that are still sleeping, and I'm still waiting for them to bear fruits. If you are wondering what post I used for trellis for my dragon fruit, I used Madre de Cacao tree or Cacahuate in Tagalog. Since concrete post is very expensive, so I use an alternative post as trellis for my dragon fruit, and it works. Just trim the tree regularly so that it will not overshadow the dragon fruit, because dragon fruit loves sun exposure. I love dragon fruit so much. I can eat even 2 kilos in one sitting. And I'm glad that I have these plants in my garden. Before, I thought there are 3 varieties of dragon fruit: the white, the red, and the yellow. I didn't know that there are almost 1,000 varieties of dragon fruits around the world. And the farm where I bought my dragon fruits, they have I think 135 plus varieties of dragon fruits, mostly imported hybrid varieties, so it's quite expensive, but it's worth it. The taste of these hybrid varieties are totally different from those that we usually buy in a market. Like for example, the physical graffiti variety, which is one of my favorites. The taste of the fruits is like a mix of kiwi, apple, and lychee. For me, that's what I think. But did you know that at first I thought all dragon fruits have bland taste, tasteless, and not delicious at all? The first time I tasted it was when I was in Bangkok. I bought one white flesh variety of dragon fruit when I was still in Bangkok. And it's quite pricey. It's quite expensive. Only to be disappointed because of the taste. It's really tasteless. It's really tasteless. I didn't even finish the whole fruit. I threw it away. And I promised to myself that I won't waste my money buying this kind of fruit in the future. And it took me 9 years before I bought this fruit again, because I've read one article about its health benefits and high in antioxidant. So I bought one, and it was a red-fleshed variety, and I wasn't expecting anything other than the health benefits it will provide. But I was surprised when I tasted it. It was so good. It was so delicious. And since then, dragon fruit became one of my favorite fruits. But mostly these hybrid varieties are not self-pollinating, meaning they cannot bear fruits without the pollen of other varieties, which are self-pollinating varieties. Like the Australian golden yellow, physical graffiti, the light variety, Maria Rosa variety, those are not self self-pollinating dragon fruit. So you have to pollinate its flowers using the pollen from a self-pollinating variety like Natural Mystic and S8 Sugar, Dark Star. Those are self-pollinating varieties. So what I usually do is that when the self-pollinating variety in my garden blooms, I collect their pollen and then store it in the freezer and use it to pollinate the blooms of those varieties that are not self-pollinating. So normally the dragon fruit blooms early in the evening, around 8 o'clock in the evening. So when the blooms open, I use the pollen of the self-pollinating, pollinating its bloom of those non-self-pollinating varieties. So when you have dragon fruits and all the blooms fell off without producing any fruits, and then maybe your dragon fruit is not self-pollinating variety, so you have to have another variety which is a self-pollinating variety for cross-pollination. So before buying a dragon fruit cuttings, if you want to plant in your garden, please ask the seller if it is a self-pollinating or not self-pollinating, and don't forget to ask the variety name. Just like the Australian golden yellow, it's a not self-pollinating variety, so you need another variety that is self-pollinating so that it will bear fruit later on.